Hello, this is Walter Latham. Hope everybody's fine. Today, I was in the Batcave and I'm hearing about this big, beautiful bill that was passed by the House of Representatives and sent up to the Senate, all right, for reconciliation. And it was totally partisan. We know that. But anyway, let's just get down to some nitty-gritty details on this because Trump and the cowardly Republicans are fooling you. I mean, look, if you take a look at the big, beautiful bill, you will see there is a massive, massive transfer of wealth from the poor to the rich. On top of that, Elon is coming out about the increase in the deficit of between $2 and $4 trillion. So what I take away here was smoke and mirrors. They laid all of these people off, government workers, with more to come, so that they could make room to give this money to the rich. They're not saving anything. This budget bill increases the deficit over 10 years by $2 to $4 trillion. Okay? And as I said in an earlier episode, when we did, Ernest and I did an episode on Elon and what's his name, Ramaswamy? Yeah. I mean, those guys are cold. All right? The first thing they're going to do is go after the low-hanging fruit. And what is the low-hanging fruit in our economy in terms of our budget? The low-hanging fruit are social programs. All right? But I think they may have bitten off more than they can chew. Check out this. You can see that two things that they're going after heavily are food stamps and Medicaid. Medicaid, oh man, you don't want to mess with Medicaid. Why are they messing with Medicaid and food stamps? But let's go to Medicaid. All right, the big, beautiful bill that was passed by the House Republicans proposes deep cuts to both Medicaid and the Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Programs or food stamps, okay? The bill aims to reduce the federal spending on SNAP by approximately $267 to $300 billion over the next decade, representing like a 30% cut and the largest reduction in the program's history. All right, these savings come from expanded work requirements, greater eligibility, and shifting more program costs to the states. And you can imagine shifting these costs down to Mississippi and Alabama. Not even possible. People are going to suffer, y'all. All right, and let's talk about Medicaid. The legislation seeks to cut Medicaid by $700 billion over 10 years. All right, so that's $70 billion a year. That's big. That's huge. And according to the CBO, the Congressional Budget Office analysis, all right, referencing these reports, the bill imposes stricter work requirements, more frequent eligibility, and reduces the federal funds to states, which could result in millions losing coverage and significant impacts on vulnerable populations. So you have to look at that for what it is. And this is my interpretation based on these data points. Now, if you reduce the amount of Medicaid, you hurting white people. I mean, anytime you touch Medicaid or food stamps, you're hurting white people more than blacks. Because if you look at Medicaid, 37% of white people are enrolled in Medicaid. Well, Medicaid rolls make up, they're white, 37%. Blacks are around 26%. And the same basic formula applies to food stamps. They get more food stamps than us. So they're worried about hurting us by these cuts when they're shooting them themselves in the foot by saying, I don't want those black people to have any extra this and that. But you're the ones that pulling all the money. You're the one that's spending all the cash. That really, they're fooling you. Because as I said, this is for lack of a better term, it's a scam. Because they're reducing these social programs for people that are in need. I'm not saying there's no people up there just laying back now in the cut. No. I'm not going to say that. But the majority of people on Medicaid and food stamps need help. And the majority of these people on Medicaid and food stamps are white. And the majority of these people on Medicaid and food stamps live in the South. Okay? Tell me. Y'all guys marching around. I got a clip here I want to show you of y'all people in Nebraska. 57,000 people in Nebraska are going to lose their coverage because of what's in this bill. They're all white. They're out there protesting. No black people out there protesting because they're going to do what they're going to do. But we're resilient. So we're just waiting for them to make their move and then we can counter.
Trump's reconciliation bill. At Memorial Park, many are trying to bring awareness to how this bill will affect Medicaid and SNAP benefits for thousands of Nebraskans. According to an analysis from the Kaiser Family Foundation, up to 57,000 Nebraskans are at risk of losing their health coverage as a result of this bill. Congressman Bacon was one of the deciding citing votes on the bill that they claim will cut $1 trillion in both Medicaid and SNAP benefits.
Specifically, I'm a disabled veteran. I rely on care from the VA, and the cuts that have already happened and that are proceeding to continue to happen, quite frankly, they make me extremely angry and disgusted with the promise that we were given if we sacrificed ourselves for our country.
Medicaid is not a benefit in the sense that we all pay into it. So it's when people really need it, and to have it cut away is an insult to U.S. citizens.
We can counter from that. But I do want to tell y'all guys that, this is amazing how people that hate other people are in the same boat as those people they hate. Oh, I got to remember that one. Yeah, I got to remember that because it's just stupid. All right? Okay, now I want y'all guys to stay with me because I got a couple of things I want to surprise y'all guys with. Okay, now let's go back to Medicaid. And what's the eligibility for Medicaid? Who's eligible? All right? Medicaid. All right, that's for babies, pregnant mothers, elderly, the infirm, the handicapped, and it's a few more. But it's there as a safety net for people when they fall into these holes. All right, it happens. It's up to me. I mean, as I said to you guys, they're not giving us anything. I don't want anything from them. I don't want it. You can give me my reparations, then that's another story. That's off topic, but I'm gonna throw it in. Give me my reparations and let me go. And find me a couple of states in the South, okay? But it's amazing, what they're doing because who is paying for this? The rich are maintaining their tax cuts, all right? So their tax cuts are going to remain in place, okay? But who is going to benefit besides the people that got money? So in actuality, what they're doing is they're taking money that they would give to the poor and giving it to the rich. They're taking it from the poor and they're giving it to the rich. So that's what they're doing. And, before we go, guys, I do want to say that the Trump family, they are the scammers. They scam people, boy. I mean, I see it, They got crypto. You got a big party inviting particular investors to the crypto party, and where this money is you can just see money all around there. Trump's son, Donald, and whatever the other guy's name, they out there selling crypto because Donald Trump's assets, 40% of his assets are in crypto, believe it or not. 40%. So we got a president I hate to say this, but Trump reminds me of Saddam Hussein with the two sons. I swear he does. He reminds me of Saddam Hussein and whoever the other, Hussein or whatever, Those two remind me of that. And this is the biggest transfer of wealth from social programs to the rich we've ever seen, people. This is horrible. But anyway, the bill resides in the Senate now for reconciliation purposes. The cowardly Republicans are the moderate ones, and the moderate ones are, they're stifled now because they're so afraid of Donald Trump that they're just going to, let it go by. They got the majority, so the majority is going to win. So I don't see any changes, any substantial changes or material changes to that bill. I think the bill may go as is, may be passed, all right? And that's going to add work requirements and all this kind of stuff. And the thing is, to me, too, before I go, people, is why did they lay off thousands of people telling us that they're saving money with DOGE, Department of Government Efficiency? Why did they tell us that? That's like wagging a dog, basically. That's the only thing I can compare it with. It's like wagging a dog, okay? Because with DOGE, you're supposed to save money by laying off these people, getting rid of the departments and this and that. This budget is going to increase the deficit by $4 trillion over 10 years or more. So, how are we saving money? The debt is still going up. Those people that lost their jobs unjustifiably are still out of work. Their families are suffering. Hopefully a lot of them found a job. And then the nerve of Republicans to vilify government workers. They just try to do it, make a living. If you study geology, where you going to go work for? Huh? You going to go work in the factory? Did you study to work in the factory? There's an assault on education on people. Anybody that got a degree, they probably think, oh, he's elite. But that person may be the first in his family to ever go to college, to ever achieve anything, and ever break through out of poverty. But no, y'all don't want to believe that because you're so damn selfish. You're selfish people, really. But you know what happens to selfish people, right? In the end, what goes around comes around. All right, so I just want to tell my people, and this is not a black or white issue. It's not. It's a class issue. And I think a lot of what Trump is doing has to do with class, even though he had thrown some bacon in there for his extreme right-wing supporters, yes. But it's a class issue, people. That's all it is, all right? So if you hear that you got a certain income level, I don't know how you're going to do it, especially with students. You can't even get a damn student loan now, all right? And you don't want to get a student loan, not with these people in charge. They are, in effect, changing. There's a paradigm shift going on right now. And that paradigm shift is a shift to authoritarianism, okay? Hey, let them do their thing. As I tell my folks, I'm going to tell them again, sit back and be ready. Sit back and be ready to respond, because eventually he's going to be turning his attention to us. That's one thing I can say about Trump. He's an equal opportunity abuser, okay? All righty. So anyway, I just want to let y'all guys know that we need you. We need you. We need you to join, subscribe to our podcast on all major streaming channels. We need you to join our Facebook page, which is The Walk Weekly, at The Walk Weekly. And we need a lot of different things. But anyway, if you want to check out the full episode, check out our YouTube channel, okay? All right, thank you. All right, bye-bye. Next time. Hope we have better news next time, right? Okay, good, cool. All righty.